Hi stamping friends, it's Angie here again. This is going to be our second try. For some reason everything just went boom and cut off. Thank goodness it was at the beginning. So hopefully you'll catch this version. But I am Angie with Too Cool Stamping. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I would love to be your demonstrator if you do not already have one. You can catch me over at my website, toocoolstamping.com. I have all of the information about Stampin' Up! And different project ideas and my upcoming classes there. So I have a few announcements today, and then we're going to get started with a really awesome bundle called Color and Contour. This one is a must-have for your collection. If you know, the stamp set's really pretty, but I'm telling you what, it's the dies that you really need. The dies are going to be something that you can use with all kinds of cards all the time. It's all about scallops on rectangles, and scallops right now are super trendy. So you're going to want to have the dies for sure, but the stamp set's really pretty too, and I'm going to show you how to use that. Before we get started though, I do want to share some information with you, a couple of reminders. And the big news is, for those of you who've been waiting and waiting for the Strawberry Builder Punch, it's finally back in stock and you can now order it. You can go to my website, toocoolstamping.com. There's going to be a link. Actually, there's not a link there, but there is one on my Too Cool Stamping Facebook page. I did put a link there as well as my VIP page on Facebook. So you can check that out. Shop now. I don't know how many they have in stock. Hopefully they have a huge inventory of them now that they've been so popular and out of stock for so long. So many of you have wanted to have that. And hey, it's strawberry season, right? Isn't that coming up? I don't even know. I don't know anything about strawberries. But anyway, I love strawberries, strawberry pie especially. So Strawberry Punch available. Also, that means the Sweet Strawberry Bundle is also available. That comes with the stamp set. Okay, a couple more announcements. That Join Plus promotion for the starter kit is almost gone. You guys, there's only 5 more days left. 5 more days to take advantage of this awesome special. Let me just summarize it again, because this is something that if you are a collector of stamps, if you really love stamps, you have a great big wish list from the new catalog. If you're a brand new stamper and you have all kinds of things that you need to get started, if you have a lot of things that you're going to be purchasing, if you're going to be making a purchase of at least $100 over the next month, you need to get this starter kit deal, you guys. This is an awesome deal, and it doesn't come around like this very often. Now, normally the starter kit, $99, you'll get $125 worth of product of your choice and free shipping. Right now, for only 5 more days until May 31st of 2021, you can get $155 worth of product of your choice for only $99 plus tax. That's free shipping. That's going to be an extra $30 than you would normally get on the starter kit. You can choose anything that you want to from the new catalog, and also from the mini catalog. There is actually starting next week on June 1st, there's going to be some discounted products on that. But obviously we can't overlap those two promotions, but you'll want to definitely get some of the retired products from the mini catalog before those are gone. So those are things you can also put on your starter kit order. It's a great way to save. And the bonus and the best part is you can continue to save because you're going to be a part of the Too Cool team, a part of the Stampin' Up! Family, and you'll get that 20% discount on all of your future orders. You just cannot go wrong. And I totally urge you, you don't have to sell, you don't have to do classes, you can just enjoy being a happy discount shopper. I have a lot of people, I mean, I would say 85 to 90% of the people on my Too Cool team are happy discount shoppers, and that's what they like. And that's what you can be too. There's absolutely no obligation to sell to other people. You can just enjoy the discount on your own. So if you want more information, you can go to toocoolstamping.com. You can contact me directly and I'll be happy to answer any questions. This is something you don't want to pass up. This is a really good offer. And I know that many times throughout the year, Stampin' Up! Does have other incentives for joining and ordering that starter kit, but they're usually not this good. They might have some kind of an add-on paper pack or some other kind of product that comes along with it when you order, this $30 extra in products of your choice is a really, really good one. So don't pass it up. 5 days left, May 31st. Don't miss it. Okay, if you do not want to sign up with a starter kit, then you can always check out the Stampin' Rewards promotion that's going on right now. For a $250 order, you can get an extra $25 in Stampin' Rewards. Now, normally on a $250 order, you would earn 10% back in Stampin' Reward dollars to spend on that order. So that would be $25 to spend. But you're going to get an additional $25, so $50 to spend when you place a $250 order. So this could be an order that you place individually or gather up some friends, put all of your orders together to get more of a workshop order or a catalog party type of an order. So either way, you can get to $250 and qualify for that extra. So again, you can go to toocoolstamping.com to find out more about that. Okay, let's get started with our projects because they're super, super pretty and cool, and I know you're gonna love them. So I'm gonna flip the camera around. Thanks so much. I see there's several people on here already. I appreciate you joining me. So hold on a minute. All right, pop, bring the camera around. All right, and again, like I like to do, when we have a live class, you can earn all of the parts and pieces to create the cards in this class when you place a $35 minimum order at toocoolstamping.com using the host code CANJBJ4T. So this is the host code you need to use. You'll be able to get all the parts and pieces pre-cut, ready to go. You just add the inks, stamps, and adhesives, and you can make the same cards that I'm going to make to show you today. All right, color and contour. This bundle is so pretty. Of course, I love flowers, as you all probably know. I love that this is a really pretty two-step stamp set. So you have a floral image and then a filler image, another floral flower with another fill, a leaf, some speckles. They always come in handy for all kinds of cards, and some really pretty sentiments. I love the font, very, very pretty. So happy for you. Thank you for everything. Here for you now. You're absolutely amazing. And then a second one here for you now and in better days ahead. So really pretty stamp set, but as I mentioned earlier, and as you probably have seen in my cards so far with this new catalog, I've been using the scalloped contours dies many, many times. I absolutely love this die set, and it is a must-have for your collection. So many pretty rectangle labels with beautiful die-cut borders that are scalloped and have some faux stitching, some faux dots, and even a big scallop border. We're going to use almost all of these dies today. And then, of course, you can cut out the two images that are the main images in that stamp set as well. So this is absolutely amazing. If you want to find it in your new catalog, you can find it on page 98. And there's some samples here, and you can find that. And I don't know if you know, but if you see that there's a white background in back of any of the images, that means there's a coordinating die that goes with it. And you can see some of these labels, their actual size, and how they would work with some of these sentiments. Just absolutely gorgeous. If you need a catalog, if you maybe you didn't get the one that I sent you, or if you are in need of one, just go to toocoolstamping.com and send me a message, and I'll be happy to get one to you. Okay, let's get started with our first card. The projects today are going to be a lot of different colors, a lot of different ink colors, a lot of different colors of cardstock. We're going to start with the polished pink. We're going to use a lot of in colors just so you guys can get used to using those and maybe pair them up with some new colors. So this is polished pink. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at the 4 1/4 mark. So there's our card base, and then I use the in color new pattern paper, a 3x4 of pale papaya, and we're gonna put that on a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece of basic white. I'm using my Stampin' Seal to adhere all of that together. And we'll just adhere that directly to our card base. I'm gonna flip it over. So there is the background. Next, I'm gonna add a little sentiment. So I have another piece of polished pink. This is a 5x1 piece. And I'm gonna use Memento Black. And my favorite sentiment from this stamp set, you're absolutely amazing. And then I'm gonna do a little fishtail cut over here where I go up the center just a little bit and then corner to center, corner to center. And then we'll add this right along the bottom. And right about there, I think looks good. And then we'll work on the focal point. So I have a piece here. This is a, let's see, 2x3, whoops, 2x3 1/4. And I'm going to use the really pretty large floral with Memento Black ink. And I'm stamping on a piercing mat that helps when you're using the photopolymer. Helps get a nice clean image and a good transfer of ink to have just a little bit of cushion underneath your stamp. So there is my image, and then I'm going to use that filler stamp with the polished pink. And the thing I love about this kind of stamp set, the way they've designed it, nothing is perfectly going to match up. There's a little bit of overlap, a little bit of overflow when you're lining this up. Pretty much you can get it, you can see where it's supposed to go, but it doesn't exactly fit in the image, as you can tell. And that's the way it's designed. So you're just never gonna have a mistake. If it's a little bit off, you're never even gonna know it. I love that. It's like idiot proof, right? So I'm gonna use a little bit of Wink of Stella. I love adding a little bit of shimmer to my flowers. And then we'll finish up with the soft succulent Stampin' Blends marker. I'm going to use the brush tip end and just fill in a few of these leaves here. Again, these are just really loose outlines of leaves. So if you go out of the lines, no big whoop, no big whoop. So here is our focal point. We're going to use those dies to create another basic white layer. I love this one in particular. Just really pretty stitching right along the edge. And I'm going to add this first, and then we'll pop up the floral layer with some dimensionals. So we'll add this right over here. And then a couple of dimensionals to lift this layer up a little bit. I just absolutely love the in colors. What are you guys thinking of the in colors? I love how they go together so well. There's not every time that the in colors actually look so beautiful together. And I just think that they really, really do. All right, we're gonna finish up with a little bit of sparkle. You know I have to add a little bit of that to the edge. So here are some Artistry Blooms sequins. And that goes with that pale papaya pretty well. Just adds a little bit of extra color and flair to that card. So there's our first card. Really kind of easy. I love how fast it comes together. And I'll tell you what, I actually cased this card from a swap that I received from Susie Wood. Here is her version, and I absolutely love how hers turned out. It's in the new Fresh Freesia, and same basic layout. Instead of doing the fishtail, she put some black matte dots, and she also, for the background, used some of the, what is it? I think it's called You're a Peach designer series paper. Really, really pretty. I love anything that's gingham is so, so pretty. So that is Susie Wood's card. Thank you so much, Susie, for giving me some inspiration on this card. All right, that's our first one. Next up, we're going to use Highland Heather as our card base. Same traditional 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This one's going to be a vertical card. And we're going to start out with a little background piece of Pacific Point. I don't use this color very much. It's so pretty, but there's not often paper that goes with this color, and it's just kind of neglected, I think. So I decided to use it for this one. And I'm just going to add this right across the background here. And then I put my finger right in the ink. Da, 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 da. That's going to get on something. I know it will. Okay, next up, I use the Scalloped Contours dies to create a background. Look at this. It's so, so pretty. So many things you can do with it. You can stamp on it, layer it, but I just absolutely love this beautiful detailed border. And it cuts really easy, you guys. It doesn't, you know, the little pieces don't stick in the die. It's just really, really great. So we're going to add that. That's just in basic white. So this will be a pretty background layer. Next, we're going to add Bermuda Bay, and this will go right inside of that. It's going to be, let's see, 3 1/4 by 4 5/8. These are some of my favorite Too Cool colors. Purple and teal of all shades. I love. Okay, then let's do some stamping on this piece. This piece is 3 1/8 by 4 1/2. And for this one, we're going to use the flower image that's from the Color and Contour set. We're going to use the outline first and then the filler afterwards. So let's get some different colors here. Of course, we need Highland Heather and Bermuda Bay and Pacific Point. So I'm going to start with the middle one, and that's Highland Heather. And I'm just going to stamp that right in the center, kind of over to the side. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to clean off my stamp with my Simply Chamois. You guys really need this. It's a super fast way to clean the color off of your stamps. So next, I'm going to use Bermuda Bay, and I'm going to stamp off the top of my image up there. Again, a little squish over here to clean it up. And then finally, Pacific Point at the bottom. Okay, next we're going to do the filler images. If you want to, you can stamp off, but I'm just going to stamp with full strength. Again, like the other flower, nothing's going to line up perfectly, but there is kind of a way that you can kind of match this up a little bit better than just randomly putting it down. And the way I do that is, can you see that there's this little one right here? Pick one of your petals and figure out how that's going to go with your image down here. And what I found was this one that has kind of a double little petal right there goes with this double little petal right here. Do you see that? So if you can kind of line that up, it'll line up better than just randomly. See how most of that goes in where it's supposed to go. It does overflow a little bit. That's how it's designed. So don't get uptight about it. Don't be have your perfectionist hat on. Just go with it. All right, next let's do, what are we on? Bermuda Bay. I'm going to use that same little notch petal for that one. Clean it off. And some Pacific Point. Where's my little notch? There it is. Okay, so there are 3 flowers. And then I'm going to add a little sentiment. I'm going to do that in Bermuda Bay. This time, let's see, let's do happy for you. So very happy for you. Stick that right down at the center, right down in the corner. And then we will add this. You could pop this up if you wanted to. I'm just going to add it with some seal to the front. Whoops, uh-oh. What I did was I stamped off a little bit onto my piece, onto my piercing mat, and I picked up some of that ink. So be careful. You might want to put a little, just a piece of copy paper or something down so that you're not getting the ink on that piercing mat. But we can fix that. So I have some of these blue gems, and I am going to fix that by adding a couple of these where those are so that they're not quite as apparent. It won't look perfect. It isn't the way I wanted it to be, but we'll just do that for some bling this time. We can add some Wink of Stella to make that a little more shimmery. Let me show you another version that I did. Very similar. This time I stamped off so you can see the difference in the flowers if you want to do full strength or stamped off for each of those. And in this one, I put those blue gems in the center of the flowers. So that's really pretty. So that is our second card. Let me show you my Too Cool version. I did a whole different color scheme and did it on the horizontal, but I used the same basic element. So I started with crumb cake. I added some Blushing Bride for the background layer, some pale papaya, and I popped that up with some dimensionals this time. You can see a little bit of dimension there. Added some linen thread across the middle, used the longer sentiment, Here for You Now and In Better Days Ahead, and then stamped all 3 flowers, crumb cake, pale papaya, and Blushing Bride across the top there. And then I used the elegant gems, elegant faceted gems for the middle of those flowers. So this is the one that's going to come in your kit when you earn that free 5-card class kit. All right, next up. This time we're going to start with Soft Succulent. Such a pretty in color. So pretty. Same traditional card base. We're going to do it vertical this time. I'm going to flip this over because I'm going to keep getting ink on my card. Let's see, this time we have a background that's 4 by 5 1/4, and I've already embossed it with the Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder, one of my favorites. Lots of dimension there. So we'll add that. And next we have a little panel of soft sea foam. This is a 2 by 5 1/4. And we're going to add some of that speckled texture. Let's see. Did I bring that with me? Well, why would I bring that with me? I didn't bring the soft sea foam over. On my other card that I already did, I used soft sea foam. I'm going to use the Soft Succulent, and I'm going to stamp off a little bit just so it's a little bit lighter. So that'll work perfectly. So just one at the top, one at the bottom. Just gives a little extra texture. Can you even see that? I don't even know if it shows up very well. Just a little subtle Next, we're going to add that to our background. Right about there. I love that soft sea foam with the soft succulent. Really is a pretty combination. Next, I've die cut another one of those scalloped rectangles. This one has a little, it has this pretty, you see how that comes apart and it's connected at the corners, but it just has a really nice detail. I love that. And we're going to stamp a little bit on this. We're going to start with one of the sentiments, and we'll stamp that in Memento Black. Let me get a little more. There we go. Thank you for everything. And then we're going to stamp a pretty leaf in Soft Succulent right above that. And then we're going to add some flowers. So I have a piece here that will add a couple of flowers. We're going to start with our outline in Memento Black again. And we'll just stamp a couple of those. We'll fill that in with some colors. Now this is where you could really use whatever colors that you have on hand if you don't have the ones that I'm using, because just about anything is going to go with those greens. So I'm going to use Pale Papaya and clean that off. Little Pale Papaya. I'm going to find that one with the little notch, which is right here. So pretty. And then the next color I'm going to use is Calypso Coral. So we're using some contrasting colors. Oranges and greens look beautiful together. All right, now the nice thing about it is we have a die cut that's going to cut that out perfectly. And let me show you another tip. Just like we have those little notches that you can kind of line up when you're doing the filler stamp, you also want to look for a little notch that is going to line up so you can line this up when you're rolling it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I like to look, there's another one that has kind of a double little petal edge, and it's this one right here. It looks kind of like a little mitten is what I like to think of it as. And I found this coordinating little divot here on the side, and that way it's going to line up really nicely. You can see how that lines up. Otherwise, you can kind of just, if you don't look for that, you'll be going around in circles, and it just doesn't quite fit. But if you look for that little mitten shape and the coordinating little divot on the die, that seems to work really well. So I've already cut those out. And let's finish this card up. So I'm just going to, if I wanted to, I could pop this up. I'm going to just use a little bit of seal to put this down. I'm going to add that right there. And then we'll pop up these two flowers with some dimensionals. And let me put this one down first, the Calypso Coral one. All right, so I'm going to put that one, let's say right there, and then this one. So we already have this leaf there, so that's kind of coming out from under that. And then we'll finish up with some Pale Papaya open weave ribbon. This is such beautiful ribbon. It's elegant, a little bit shimmery, kind of satiny looking, and it's super easy to tie. I'm just tying a little double knot here, and we'll trim that off. There we go. Let's add, let's see, It needs one more little champagne rhinestone just to have a little bit of a triangle design of that pretty orange color. So that is our third card for today. I love that one. Again, you can add a little bit of Wink of Stella to give the flowers a little shine. Maybe just add it to the middle part and give that a little bit of sparkle just right in the center. So that is one way to work on that design. And I did a variation using the other flower for my second design. This one is in Granny Apple Green for the background. The same soft sea foam. It's a little bit wider, I noticed. I did maybe a 2 1/4 inch. And the background, instead of the brick and mortar, I used the hammered metal. I made the label go in this direction and then did a little die cut of the other floral image. This time I colored it in Granny Apple Green, and I put the fill in Magenta Madness to really make that pop. I love the little black accents, the black matte dots, and then also the Playful Pets trim. That black and white trim just really gives it a little bit of extra detail that I love. So those are the two cool versions, and this one is the one that's going to be in your class kit. All right, I absolutely love this next one. I hope you guys will too. So pretty. We're starting out with Pool Party, and it was a regular traditional 5.5 by 8.5, but I've used the scallop border die here from the Scallop Contours die set to create this really pretty faux stitched scalloped border across the bottom of the front of the card. So we'll fold this up and then we have the inside of the card is going to be tucked in here. I want to put a little sentiment that peeks out. So let's find the amazing sentiment. We'll clean that up and then we'll stamp that in some Coastal Cabana. And we're just going to stamp this right at the bottom. Add this to the inside, and that's going to just peek out right below our scallop border, like so. Really pretty. All right, next we're going to add some details on the background of the front of this card. So let's start with let's see. We have our pretty leaf image. We're going to clean that up, and we're going to use Pool Party, so the same color as the background. And I'm just going to add some leaves. I'm going to have a little flower bouquet up here, so I want the leaves to kind of come out from that. So our flowers are going to go there. We're going to add some speckles too, a little splattered effect. So we'll put some of that here and maybe some over here, a little overlapping. We could even put some down here on our inside of our card if we wanted to. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next, let's make some flowers. We're going to use those same pretty flowers in 3 different colors. Let's start with, we'll have to keep our chamois handy because we're going to be mixing the colors up again. And again, you can use whatever colors you want to. So I have some fresh freesia, and I'm going to do, let's see, some pale papaya. Just about any of the subtle colors, the soft colors are going to look really, really good together. But I love that I'm using some in colors here along with Pool Party. They work really nicely together. And that's polished pink. And then we're going to finish up with the fill. So let's do our pale papaya. Clean it up. Whoops. Uh-oh. I lost my chamois, went flying. So we'll just go over here and clean up. And then polish pink. All right. Again, we would cut that out with the dies. So let me get these out of the way. And I've already done that. So here are the flowers that I cut out with those dies. And then before we assemble, I'm going to add some of the Pool Party sheer ribbon across the front here, and then we'll put the flowers over the top. I love this ribbon. Again, it has a lot of shimmer, like the open weave ribbon, and transparent, so it just is really soft and subtle. Just a little double knot. Okay, now let's add just a couple dimensionals behind each of these, right in the center, so we can have a lot of room for overlapping. Okay, we're going to start with the fresh freesia one. And you want to be careful not to put the dimensionals so that they stick to the inside of the card, if you know what I mean. And we'll put this one here, and then the last one up here. Let's go like that. So just a little bouquet of flowers right there. We're going to finish up with some more artisan sequins. So let's see, let's put one up here and one over here and another one over here. So there we go. If you want to add some Wink of Stella to the centers, you could do that. It gives a little bit of extra shimmer and just a really pretty, fun opening. I actually did a little bit more on the inside of my original card. Just added a couple of coordinating flowers there. I thought that looked really pretty. And then I have a Too Cool version, of course. This one I did with soft sea foam as my background. I did soft succulent for the leaves, soft sea foam for the splattered effect. I used the soft sea foam open weave ribbon and same colors. Actually, no, I did the pale papaya, the fresh freesia, and the calypso coral for that. Same kind of look though. And then I finished up with some of those blue faceted gems. Really, really cute. I love how those turned out. I hope you guys do too. So the Pool Party will be the one that comes in your class kit. All right, we have just one more card. And this is a kind of a fun fold as well. We're starting out this time with a vertical piece of Misty Moonlight. So it's 4 1/4 by 11. And then we have scored at the 2 3/4 inch mark and the 8 1/4 inch mark. So this is going to make a little gate fold that is vertical. Remember, when you're doing the gate folds, I usually make sure that I butt those edges up nice and flush before I finish my burnishing of the score line. Whoops, it still didn't work. There we go. That way they're going to lay nice and flush together. So here is our card base. And then I thought it'd be fun to put a little bit of designer series paper. Haven't really used a lot of that in this class. But this one is from the hand-penned designer series paper. Absolutely beautiful paper. And I love all the colors. It uses a lot of the in colors. So it really brings all those colors together. So this is just a 2 1/4, no, 2 1/2 by 4 inch piece. Excuse me. And then this is another piece of Misty Moonlight that's also 2 1/2 by 4, and I've textured it with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. We'll add that to the bottom panel. Just give it a little bit of texture. And now we're going to use another one of the dies. There's so many different dies, all the different sizes here. We actually have used every one except for this last one, which I love too because it has some little polka dots on each of the scallops, but all the other ones we've used. So this is the last one. That is going to go down next. And here's a background that we're going to put on top of that. Let me measure that for you. It is 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And for this one, we're going to decorate it with the splatter image a little bit. And I lost my chamois, so let me clean it over here. And the splatter is going to be in Misty Moonlight Stamped Off. We want it just to be a little bit more subtle, but still coordinate. So just a couple of splatters right up there at the top. We're going to add a stamped sentiment, and this time that's going to be in Memento Black, and we'll do it right here in the corner. So very happy for you. And then let's get this put on our scallop layer. That just fits so perfectly. I love this scallop layer. Also has a little bit of stitching right around, just a little pretty border. And then we'll finish up. I have a scrap piece here. I'm going to finish up with that pretty floral stamped in Memento Black again. The filler is going to be in Fresh Freesia. And then we can use that soft succulent Stampin' Blends marker again to add a little bit of green. Matches that background, matches the scalloped layer. And then we're going to use the die that matches that. So we can cut that whole shape out, which is great. You can put that same shape on a dark layer and just have that really pop. You can punch it up with some dimensionals, which is what we're going to do here. So I already have my flower already cut out. I'm going to add a few dimensionals on the back. And you really only need dimensionals up here at the floral part. The stem is so skinny, you could try to cut a really skinny piece of dimensional, but I found you really don't need it. It can just kind of hang there and be okay. But that's just going to go right here. And we're going to add it to this piece with some more dimensionals. So to do that, I only want it to hook to this top piece. So you can see I did a little 180 flip, so I know exactly how to line those dimensionals up so they're not too far down. We'll add that little overhanging layer and finish up with some champagne rhinestones. Brings out that pale papaya color in the designer series paper. And a little bit of sparkle. So there we go. And then you can finish the inside with you know, a 4 by 5 1/4 piece. You can add another sentiment in there, put some more flowers in there if you want to. Really, really pretty. So that is our last card. Let me show you my Too Cool version. And this one, I started with Pale Papaya as my background. I use that same hand-penned Designer Series paper, only a different pattern for both the top and one of the solid backgrounds as for the bottom. The same soft succulent scallop layer, a little bit of Blushing Bride for the splattered look, and then stamped in Pale Papaya and colored with soft succulent. Also, those same rhinestones look really great there. So really pretty Too Cool versions here. And again, you're going to have this one in your class kit. So let's bring back all of the cards that you'll have in your class kit. So these are what you will be making, and you can get all the supplies for the 5 cards that I showed how to make just by placing an order at toocoolstamping.com, and you need to use that host code CANJBJ4T. You need at least a $35 order, and it's going to be going on between now and next Wednesday. So that's, let's see, June 2nd is when this offer ends. So place your order before then, and then I will send out those kits the following Monday. You'll have all the parts and pieces. You just add the stamp sets, the inks, and the adhesives. Of course, I don't do any pre-die cutting for things that are stamped and then die cut, so you will need the dies, or you can just fussy cut those on your own if you don't have the dies. But all the rest of the die cuts that don't require stamping first, all the different scalloped layers, all the border edges like on this card, those will all be pre-cut for you, ready to go. So I hope you really enjoyed this class. I so love this bundle. Like I have been saying all along, you have to get the dies at least. Those are absolutely fabulous. But the stamp set is really versatile and very pretty as well. So hopefully you love this class as much as I enjoyed creating it. And I thank you so much for spending some time with me today on our live class. I appreciate it and hope you had a lot of fun. So if you need anything from me, you can always go to toocoolstamping.com. That's where you can find out more about these classes and each of these cards. I usually blog about them and give you some details, as well as any of the promotions happening with Stampin' Up. The starter kit promotion that goes on now through the end of May, and also the extra Stampin' Reward promotion that happens now through the 14th of June. So you can go there to toocoolstamping.com for more information. All right, everybody, until next week on Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time when we do our next live class, I will see you. I hope you have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.